On June 25th, Tim Means will return to the octagon against Nicholas Dalby, and I think it's an appropriate time to talk about one of the most consistent and entertaining fighters not ranked in the welterweight division. This is a brief breakdown of the Dirty Bird, Tim Means. Means is a strange fighter. By all means, he shouldn't be as successful as he is, but after years of hard losses, he's only become craftier and more focused on his task at hand. Means is most successful when he's pressuring his opponent and keeping them on the back foot. He's not particularly heavy-handed, but he has a measured lead hand, and his jab is stinging enough to keep his opponents on notice. Means keeps a tall stance and for the most part relies on arm punching to stack on the damage. This is probably why he's not a hard hitter, but allows him to consistently throw half-power punches all the time. And this consistency is what makes him an interesting fighter. Against Sapa Homasi, Means repeatedly gripped and pawed at his orthodox opponent's lead hand. This in turn forced Homasi to either try to reset or throw something back at him. Means would either duck back and return with the left or move forward to fill in the space. If his opponent tries to trade with him, Means has become better at slipping the first punch and pivoting to the outside of his opponent's leg in order to fire off a straight left. He isn't throwing this with much power, but he's trying to constantly touch his opponent rather than outright kill them in one shot. When Homasi felt overwhelmed, he would look to tie up with Means, and this is where Means has made his money. Whenever he falls into the clinching range, he will immediately look for the single collar tie. This is because he loves to elbow off the clinch, and he wonderfully sliced up Saba Homasi as a result. If his opponent tries to leave the clinch by ducking the elbow, he'll simply turn into a double collar tie and try to knee his head on the way out. But what makes Means interesting is his ability to stick on his opponent and constantly pile on the strikes. Against Perry, Means knew that Perry was a much stronger striker, and rather than trying to dive into the clinch, he willingly hung back and peppered Perry with a jab. Playing off of Perry's lead hand, he would get Perry to reach for his head, only to meet him with a stiff jab or a left hand. And when Perry got too aggressive and bulldozed his way into the clinch, Means would immediately turn into the side and shove his shoulder into Perry's chest to grab the collar tie and try to swim Perry away while he moved off. The thing is with Means though, is that he has developed all these small little tricks to enable his game because he lacks many of the physical attributes that top fighters have. He has a fairly average chin and he's not the fastest, and his lack of power can often lead him to overcommitting, getting himself into a lot of trouble. And against Daniel Rodriguez, it was clear that Means was getting hurt by the heavier-handed opponent in Rodriguez. Losing his patience, he was more desperate to make openings for himself, and as a result traded a lot more than he usually does. His jab was working wonders when he's employing it intelligently, but without his consistency, Means is a fairly average man looking to land a Walmart parking lot left hand. And as a result of hanging out at punching range, he was clocked and subsequently tapped out. I'm not saying that Means is particularly a bad fighter, but he's clearly not a top 10 fighter, and that's perfectly fine. I enjoy his fights because of his weaknesses, not in spite of it. His fight against Staropoli proved that by applying a lead hand trap against a southpaw, he can easily land a jab. Means has routinely shown calm within the pocket once he gets his ball rolling, and it's encouraging to see that he hasn't desperately tried to change his style when he has been beaten before. I'm not sure how Means' career will end, but I'm comfortable with him taking fights against old vets or squeaky clean newbies. He has a style that will always test fighters and inspire them to be greater, and on June 25th, I'm excited to see how Tim Means will fight again. Thanks for watching.